On Friday, Ugandans woke up to a barrage of tweets from the Chief of Defense Forces, CDF, Gen. Muhoozi Kainerugaba castigating U.S. Ambassador to Uganda William W. Popp for allegedly undermining the government of President Yoweri Museveni. Fellow Ugandans, it is my solemn duty to announce to you all that we as a nation are about to have a serious confrontation with the current U.S. ambassador to our country. For disrespecting our beloved and celebrated president and undermining Uganda's constitution, he posted on X. If this current U.S. ambassador does not apologize to me personally by Monday morning, 9:00 a.m., for his undiplomatic behavior in our country, we will demand he leaves Uganda. We have no problem with the USA. As I have said many times, it is a country we love and admire. But lately, we have a lot of evidence that they have been working against the NRM government. Gen. Muhoozi is the president's son. Information from the U.S. Embassy indicates that the staff were caught unawares and did not understand where the statements by the CDF were coming from, yet he gave them less than 72 hours to take action. Mr. Popp had not responded to the comments by press time, and neither had any official at the mission in Kampala. We are trying to analyze the situation, a source there said. The mission reportedly sent a message of concern to the Foreign Affairs Ministry but had not got a response by Friday evening. Matthew Miller, the Department of State spokesperson, in a statement to this publication, says the United States is the largest and longest-standing international partner with Uganda and the Ugandan people with a relationship spanning over 60 years. Our nearly $1 billion, approximately $3.7 trillion, supports local institutions and organizations every day to improve the health, education, and prosperity of millions of Ugandans. The embassy, the ambassador, and the United States government continue to work directly and normally every day with Ugandan authorities on a full range of issues, he said in a statement sent to the East African. In accordance with U.S. law, the United States is committed to supporting justice for victims and accountability of those involved in human rights violations around the world. This includes denying or restricting travel visas to visit the United States for individuals with demonstrated evidence in committing abuses. As friendly nations, we maintain an open and honest dialogue with Ugandan authorities about the protection of human rights as enshrined in the Ugandan Constitution and international declarations and agreements, the statement added. Mr. Popp was appointed U.S. Ambassador to Uganda in September 2023, replacing Natalie Brown. What is the problem? Ugandan officials, who requested not to be named, say the issue could be this week's U.S. sanctions on 4 police chiefs. The most senior, Eli Womanya, is reported to be close to the general. The U.S. Department of State on Wednesday announced travel sanctions on 4 officers of Uganda's police force for alleged gross violations of human rights, including torture and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Matthew Miller, Department of State spokesperson, named Bob Kagarura, former Wamala Regional Police Commander, Alex Mwine, former District Police Commander for Midiana District, about 70 kilometers west of Kampala. Womanya, who at the time of the alleged violation was Senior Commissioner and Deputy Director of UPF's Criminal Investigations Division in charge of the Special Investigations Unit, SIU, and Hamdani Twesigye, former Deputy Inspector of Police assigned to SIU. The sanctions have increased the number of Ugandan officials on the U.S. blacklist, including former Inspector General of Police Gen. Kale Kaihura, Maj Gen. Abel Kanduho, the former head of the Chieftaincy of Military Police, and Johnson Bayabashija, the Commissioner General of Uganda Prison Service. The U.S. also sanctioned Speaker Anita Among, her husband Moses Magogo, Karamoja Minister Goret Kitutu, and Minister Amos Lugalobi. The U.S. sanctions came weeks after the United Kingdom imposed travel bans and asset freezes on Among, Kitutu, and Nandutu, the ministers accused of involvement in the theft of iron sheets meant for the Karamojong. International Affairs Minister Henry Okello Oryem termed the U.S. sanctions as unilateral. That's an intimidating American culture. They are powerful and want to bully the weak, he said. Rights violations. Livingstone Sawanyana, executive director of the Foundation for Human Rights Initiative, says abuses have continued despite the sanctions. People are being arrested and dumped in waiting vehicles and taken to unknown places. It's high time the government dealt with issues of rights, he said. But the police say they have their mechanisms to deal with human rights abusers, and the sanctions do not interfere with their mechanisms. Police spokesperson Russo Katuma said the Police Professional Standards Unit handles all issues to do with human rights abuses. We have disciplinary mechanisms within the police, and we don't have any challenges dealing with human rights in the force, he said.